Welcome to Let's Grow with Yo. It is Tuesday, March 8th. I had to think of the date. I couldn't remember the date. I pray you all are having a blessed and wonderful Tuesday. Today we have a good little show. We're going to talk to some mothers and see how they were raising their children. But before we get started, you know what time it is. We have to do your Did You Know in Black History. Here we go. Martise Johnson, a victim of police brutality who was wrongfully arrested and jailed in 2015 on suspicion of a fake ID. A fake ID, y'all. A fake ID. Can you believe that? Martise is outspoken Black activist and law student at the University of Michigan. Johnson, who has attended law school to pursue racial justice, he also compiled a Google document with a great list of anti-racist resources. So that is your Did You Know in Black History. Give it up for this young man. This young man was falsely arrested, jailed for having a fake ID, in which his ID was not fake. And this was in Michigan. This is crazy. This was happened in 2015. And we have to do better than that. Also, let's keep our prayers for the people of Ukraine. So hopefully and prayerfully this thing can stop. Russia is just doing the most, and I pray that it stops early. So we're going to get started. We are going live, and we are going to add our special guest on tonight. The first person is Miss Valerie. So, hey, Miss Valerie. So,
hello.
How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, and the next woman we have on is a Reverend Renita, a.k.a. Daddy Direct. Go, girl. Go, girl. How y'all doing this evening?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah.
I am well. Everybody got their glasses out. Look, I took mine off, but I can't. I don't know what's going on. I got glasses in every room in the house, child. Well, tonight's show, we're talking to mothers. We're still waiting for another young lady. She had got off work and had to get her son situated, and she's going to pop on when she can. So I wanted to talk to mothers because I think you gave me this idea, Miss Valerie. You did. You gave me this idea last year to talk to mothers about how the difference, the way we raise our children between, I don't consider us old, but compared to the millennials, the young people nowadays, how we raised our children and how we, the different techniques, what we learned from them and what they learned from us, things to exclude, include, stuff like that. Okay? All right. Now, if you don't mind, can you tell us how old your all's children are? Miss Valerie, how are your children?
Okay. I have 3 daughters. They are 22, 29, and 31.
Ooh, you got grown kids.
Yes.
Grown kids. Renita?
My babies are Destiny is 28 and Desmond is 25.
I thought he was 24. I don't know. Okay.
His birthday was January 22nd.
That's right. He just had a birthday. Okay. So I don't know. You were in the military too when you had your children too, didn't you, Miss Valerie?
I sure did. I'm sorry, y'all. My husband just walked by. I apologize.
It's okay. I understand. So when you were raising your children, was it easy? Was it hard? Were you a single parent? Did you have a husband? Did you?
I don't know what
Go ahead, tell me, Miss Valerie, you first.
Well, my first daughter I had when I was in Berlin, Germany, and we were both dual military. So,
Okay.
we had a village. I was in Germany. Most of us could say we really had a village, a great
Right.
village. But so I had the village help me raise my first daughter. It was difficult at times. I think she went to probably about 8 daycare centers.
Ooh.
I'm not going to say I was picky. I had one that I really loved, but I saw a cat hair in a pamper, and that's a no-no.
How they get a cat hair in the
I don't know. They couldn't explain. The cat doesn't go near them, but she had a cat hair. And I really enjoyed this person, and she was actually in the same building. But snatched right out, took leave until I had to find somebody else. So my first one, dual military, yes, and then and when I had the last one, I was a single parent, and yeah, you have to sometimes really need a village or something to help you, to make it through.
Yeah. What about you, Renita?
I had my mom. I would say I had a village also because my mom was very supportive when I was in the military. I mean, from the beginning until the end, she kept my kids when I was in basic at AIT, when I went to Korea. Then I had my cousin that came and lived with me. She helped. And then when we were all stationed together, we, like Miss Valerie was saying, you, me, Free, and Jacarla, was that her name? We were a village. And Hannah, we all partnered like this your weekend and Free, this your weekend party or go out.
Right.
And this our weekend to keep the kids. And we just rotated and we were a very good support system for everybody.
Yeah, I think and I wish she was on here, but I was talking to another young lady. Well, it was 2 young ladies that's supposed to be on here. One of them, because Swana, she had death in the family, so she couldn't come on tonight.
Sorry.
But I know, like with her they my adopted grandbabies. That's what I call them. I said she has a village to, her mom, her dad, and me, and her sister. So she has like a village. I'm not sure about friends when it comes to babysitting or when you got to run to the store, you can drop your child off and stuff. What do you think is different in relation to raising your children now? I mean, then compared to now, what do you think the differences are? I'll start with you, Renita.
Whoa. I think, me personally, don't know me, but I think the difference is respect. I
Okay.
think so many children have raised children, and we've been broken, that we've become more so friends
Was
with
Okay.
our kids than we did necessarily. Like my mom was my parent. She made it clear she was not my friend. So I said those things with Destiny, but I was a lot more lenient than I was with. I see now people are, they party with their kids. They hang with their kids. Kids are in grown folks' business and conversation. So to me, I just feel like those boundaries aren't set. So it's a lack of respect, and it's harder for someone outside of that circle to discipline a child, because the mother cuss you out, the child will cuss you out, and
Yeah.
all of those things. Whereas if I did something, I would get a spanking from Lulabelle, Sally Sue, and then get home and get a spanking from my mom because she was okay with that. And same thing with me. If you came and said Destiny or DJ did something, that was all that it took. I mean, I didn't need, to talk to them, get their side of the story, because you had no reason allowing them. So I just think for me, that's one of the biggest things I see is the
respect.
roles. Respect the roles. Yeah.
What about you, Miss Valerie?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Today, as I see, and I have quite a few friends who are teachers, the kids today, when they took discipline away from parents, some parents, I'll say, some parents, because some of us still, did discipline. When that started, that's what the problem was. Today has no structure. Kids have no structure. it's sad what you see. Um, Sometimes I get a little, I don't know, salty about what I see. The kids have no structure.
Mhm.
They have no discipline either. They say yeah
Oh,
instead of yes. They don't know what it's like to sit at a table as a family. So it's totally different from how we probably grew up versus now. Parents don't sit and go over their homework with them, or they don't even get any homework. You know, my kids didn't have homework. Yes, you did, because you're going to review what you learn, or you're going to review what you got to learn.
yeah.
You're going to do something. You're not going to sit and just look at an iPad or a TV or a phone all day.
Yeah.
And so it is a big difference today. No structure, no discipline. And then they're taking it into the classroom with the teachers. And if you notice, teachers are quitting left and right because they can't control them. Their hands are tied. They can't say different words to them, you know, or they'll be written up or fired. So structure and discipline, if you want to say they're the same, it's lacking. So it's terrible how not all, because you still have some parents that's still old school, like Reverend Renita said. If she did something, Miss Mary down the street gonna tell.
Mhm.
And some Miss Marys were allowed to tap that tail, right?
Most
And then
definitely.
you got a tap tail from your mom. And then they don't, not saying you have to, my daughter and I had this discussion. You don't always have to spank and beat a child. You don't always have to do it. But there are times where you might need to tap and let them know, I don't play that. I'm not going to accept that, and it won't happen again.
Now, let
And
me
I'm
say,
not saying, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Rita put, I am a better grandmother than I am a mother, I believe. And she also said Gilmerton didn't play. This is the neighborhood she grew up in. Hey, Kendra.
Hello,
How
Kendra.
are you?
I'm doing great. How's everyone?
Doing
We
well.
are
How are you?
good. I know you were rushing to get in. I'm gonna ask you the question that I asked these ladies first. How old are your children, and what do you have, a boy or girl?
I have a bonus daughter. She is 10, and then I have a son. He is 2.
Okay. Now the other question was, what do you see differently in raising your child now compared to when you were growing up?
Oh man. Growing up for me, definitely my mom was I was sheltered. I was very sheltered. My mom is a pastor, so she was very
So you're a preacher's kid.
Bible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the T with everything. She spared the rod. Like it was old school. Whereas in my house, I'm unlearning and relearning.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things that I didn't realize until as I got older, had my own kids. It was like, that's a better way of handling that, or that doesn't always work. Like I'm learning, not every child take heed to spankings. Some of them can actually, you can talk to, like my bonus daughter, you could talk to her and she is so sorry. She's like, okay, behavior's fixed. Mm-hmm. Now my son, even though he's 2, I can tell already that he's one that, we gotta work through the motions of the emotions. Yeah. But it's just learning each child separately, but also, like I said, unlearning what was placed on me and learning my own ways, but also making sure my kids are in place and doing what they need to do.
Well, that's good. That's good, that unlearning and relearning, because I know Joanne didn't spare no rod, no frying pan, no switch, no extension cord. We got it all. Whatever she had her hands on, that's what we got. And I noticed, like with my daughter Brittany, who is 28, and my daughter Jarrell, who is 21, I have to discipline them differently, because Jarrell is like your bonus daughter. You could talk to her and she falling out on the floor crying, screaming, hollering, and everything else, and you ain't got to lay a hand on her. Whereas Brittany, you might have to take her outside to the back and throw some blows. I mean, that's just how it go, you know. So, and she even laughed at that. She put LOL on her comment. So, I mean, you know, it's different in, like Renita stated the lack of respect nowadays compared to when we were brought up, whereas I can't curse in front of my parent. If it slipped out, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
Sorry. You right now. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna curse in front of my parent. I'm not. Excuse my language. If anybody gets offended, I'm sorry. Bees and hoes and this, that, and the other in front of my mother nor my father. First of all, I think I would have got a shoe across the lip or something, right? So I mean, because my mom would have picked something up and slung it. I'd have been like, okay, well I'm sorry. Even as an adult, she didn't play. You know, I had grown kids and she still was throwing stuff at me because I just anyway. But nowadays, like y'all said that. I don't know if it's the structure, but in a way, I blame our generation, meaning you're young, me, Miss Valerie, and Renita's generation, because we wanted to give our children what we didn't have. So they grew up, and I don't know. These kids nowadays, I don't know. I saw a video where I don't know if you all seen it where they was in the school and a substitute teacher was there and the boy was cussing the girl was cussing the substitute teacher out and then slapped her. And she couldn't do nothing. That goes back to what you said, Miss Valerie. Whereas these children don't have no respect, no structure, and the parents. My kid is right, you're wrong. Yeah. So what do y'all think about that? I know you was a teacher too, right, Kendra?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
So for me, I totally agree. Like with this generation of kids, the respect level is out of the window. It's definitely not there. But that goes to say that I also disagree with you saying it was your generation. I totally blame my generation. And I say this because, like I just said, trying to learn and unlearn, but we're learning the wrong things because we're trying to be our kids' friends because we're trying not to be so toxic or try to be so stern or so mean. We don't want to be the bad guy. We don't want to be that parent. So with trying to shield ourselves, because it's not the kid, trying to shield ourselves from being the bad guy, you turn into the bad guy though, because you're creating a little monster. I mean, that's just call it what it is. You're creating a little monster that thinks that this world owes them something, or this world is theirs and theirs only. And I say that because when they go out into these schoolhouses and they interact with other adults, they feel like they can handle them the same way that they handle their parent. And they cannot, or they handle kids, other peers, the same way. They mishandle them because they don't know how to properly handle a person because their parent enables their behavior instead of correcting their behavior.
Okay. Brittany put, we still knew respect though. I know each parent is different. Also, how my dad may handle me is different from my mom. My dad never cared about the yes sir, but my mom did. What do you think about what she said, Renita?
I was looking for a news article that I read today, but I agree with both. I agree with Brittany because my mother would tell me to tell my kids not to say yes ma'am and yes sir and things like that, which I was surprised, but her generation had to do it with inequality. So that was a way of freedom for her, and she didn't like that. But I also love Kendra. Is that how you say it? That yes. Every child is different because Destiny and DJ is different. Destiny may have gotten 2 or 3 spankings in her life, and then she realized to play the game. I'm gonna fake it. I'm gonna pretend to do it, and I'm gonna just learn how to sneak and maneuver this thing. And that's what she's done. She worked that thing. Whereas DJ, he was just gonna, it is what you get. You either wear me out or I'm gonna wear you out, and that's what we did. But today I read that a teacher was knocked unconscious by 5-year-olds. They beat up the 5-year-olds beat up a teacher, and the ambulance had to come and get her from the school. She didn't know where she was when she came to. She was confused. So that's why I just feel like it's just a total lack of respect, because I mean, kids know more rap songs, more TikToks than they do ABCs and how to tie their shoes. You know, like, it's just, to me, it's just, we are exposing them. It's cool for kids to be thuggish. It's cool for kids to twerk. It's cool. You know, I just feel like, and yes, I am a minister, but I'm, you know, liberated. I just feel like there's certain things that we're doing now that's causing more damage than it is enlightening or bringing us to what our forefathers and them fought for.
Right.
You know, they don't care about voting. You know, it's so much stuff they don't care about because it just doesn't seem important to them. It's not cool. It's not. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this. Brittany said that's how she's supposed to do. My girl talking about Destiny.
You know what, Brittany?
Y'all both. What you guys can say about it, Miss Valerie?
I actually was listening to the question, but I think I still got stuck when she said a 5-year-old.
Knocked out a teacher. See, I'm confused about that one too. What did they knock
I
her
really
out?
kind of think I lost track of the question because I was sitting here trying to imagine. What do you mean a 5-year-old knocked out a teacher? I know
And
that
the 5-year-old is going to be charged. They're going to charge because Florida is in Florida, Pembroke Pines, Florida. Florida doesn't have the minimum age.
Right.
They have a bill out, but it hasn't been approved yet. And the child is going to be charged with aggravated assault with hands, fists, or feet.
is the parent going to be charged too?
Exactly. Where's the parent?
My thing is we got to hold parents responsible. We have to hold parents responsible.
At 5.
For a 5-year-old, and you know, when like I know someone that rides on the bus monitor or whatever and listen to some of the kids what they do, and they fight or hit somebody off the bus, then the parent need to be responsible to bring that child to school. They would be banned from the bus, should be banned from the bus, and the parents should have to take off their job, come into that school, and matter of fact, probably sit in the class. And now they mad at the kid because they missing work. Maybe they'll talk to their kids. Parents have to be held responsible. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-way partnership. And I think I've said that before. It's the teacher, the student, and the parent.
Right.
Hold parents responsible for a lot of things because there's no way a 5-year-old should be hitting a teacher. They probably hit their mother too.
That's what I was about to say. They probably beat their parents up. But I just can't get the concept to where he get to swing on me and my reaction would be hit him back. But that's just me. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Child can knock out a grown adult. And what I can't fathom that in my head. However, like you said, it's a 3-way thing. It's the parents, the teacher, and the child. And just like they are holding the parents responsible for the young man that shot up the people in the school, why can't they hold his parents of the 5-year-old responsible for beating a teacher? He's 5. We are responsible for our children until they graduate high school. Why can't they hold them responsible? This whole world is going crazy. Now, as you grow older, I know, Kendra, you may not. Do you find it easier to talk to your children now compared to then, Miss Valerie? Like about anything, boys, girls.
Well, of course, my kids are all grown right now, and it is different. Things I probably would have. Today they speak their mind, which is a good thing. On some of them, they, sometimes we would like hush, don't say anything back. Well, if someone is wrong. If a police is wrong, my daughter is going to say something. I'm like, no, you just don't say that. Oh, no, I have a right. So it's different today. They're a little different today. Our conversations, they'll speak their mind. They don't disrespect me at all. They won't disrespect me, but they're going to speak their mind. If they feel I am wrong or they disagree or agree to disagree, as their age right now, they have no problem letting me know, oh, I don't agree with what you're saying, so
What you say, Renita?
it's good, I think I answered the question.
You did. You did. What you think, Renita?
Woo, Lord. It's definitely different. That comment about me feeling like I'm a better grandmother than mother, because I believe in so many ways I was so broken that they didn't often know what they would get.
Right.
One day they could be throwing a piece of tissue, or they could be throwing a rock, and I would be like, oh, it's cool. And then they throw a tissue and I'm going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Ready to kill everybody. I just think because of how emotionally unstable I was, they found it harder at that time to talk to me and be vulnerable with me. But as we both grew, because I think being a young mother too, probably had a lot to do with that as well. But as we all grew up and we began to mature, and I began to love me, because even though I know I love them from a broken place, because I love me from a broken place.
Right.
So now that I when I begin to love me completely, I stopped loving them through guilt, and I could then parent them and communicate with them in a way that was healthy. So I think as we grew, our relationship grew. Now it did provide struggles, because they had been used to the broken me and getting away with certain things, and me overlooking certain things, or whatever the situation is. So now I'm trying to retrain them how to interact with me, so it became challenging. But now they're adults. I mean, listen, we don't even have to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's totally different. It's a whole different type of communication, because like, you're super grown. My baby is a father. So I mean,
Right.
It's just totally different.
Now I know your children aren't old enough, Kendra, but do you find yourself with your 10-year-old wanting her to be able to talk to you, be open up to you, but now than when she was younger?
Yes. So I've been around since she was 2. So even when she was younger, we've always had a very, very tight bond. We always had a very tight bond. But as she gets older, she's growing into her own little self. And so that's kind of hard for me, even from afar, even just being a stepmom. It's kind of hard to see her grow into this preteen, literally. And to see her interested she goes from interested into Trolls and Frozen to rock bands and boys, and it's kind of interesting to me. So I leave an open door policy. I try to. So even if you don't communicate through mommy or daddy, the door is open over here.
Right.
So that's one thing I do value with us. But I came in with the idea from her to my actual child. Reality set in really fast. really, really fast. Because it was different. When you have your own child, you can implement your own parenting. You can implement, and when you come in, you have your way. Because I was trying to unlearn from a broken home and unlearn certain things I knew that just was not healthy. And so I came and I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Then I met him. And I was like, oh, we need this. We need that. We need that. Yeah. So it's just, like I said, it's unlearning, relearning, and unlearning goes all the way back to her. Like I said, having her first before I actually had my own.
Right.
And her being a girl, handling her one way. Because like I said, you can talk to her. You like, I didn't like that. That wasn't good. She's breaking down. She's disappointed. Whereas my son, you could tell him stop. He looking at you like, I'm about to do it again. So,
I have to laugh at that.
Learning which child you gotta have a lot of patience with.
Yeah.
Which ones you gotta bless with. You gotta bless them. And like I said, it just relearning, unlearning with her was a lot easier. And with my own child, he's in the house full time, and he's 2. So we're going through the terrible twos. We're going through the toddler phase. We're going through it all together. And so it's just learning what I'm going to accept in my household, not trying to pick up what my mom did in her household, what my grandparents did in their household. I'm doing what works for my household.
Right. I had to laugh because I didn't have boys, but I had my godson, my nephew, and I had to say this one time. Renita, remember when he jumped from the top of the stairs? I thought we was going to the hospital. That was my baby though. He couldn't do no wrong, honey. He couldn't do no wrong, baby. And Renita, as I began to heal, my relationship with my children began to flourish because I couldn't truly love them until I loved myself. And that is so true. I noticed with Brittany and Jarrell, like you said, Renita, I was parenting from guilt. And I was parenting from the way my mom had raised us, which was not really the best way to raise children. But now that I begin to love Yomi, listen to Yomi, my things and stuff, I'm able to listen to my girls, and they come, and sometimes I'm like, Lord, what now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we got to talk about now? But I love it because they are open to me, and I'm open to receive it and give them advice. Sometimes I just listen, Sometimes they don't want advice from mommy. They just want me to shut up and listen. And I'll shut up and listen. But then I'll be like, are you sure you don't want me to say nothing? But that's just my thought. Brittany says, I think one reason the village thing has been taken away because a lot of us are scared of bad things that can happen. We know it was a lot of things our parents went through and hid because of the village.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I agree.
What do you think, Miss Valerie? What she just said? And you, what?
I was distracted. I'm sorry.
Brittany has said, I think one reason the village thing has been taken away is because a lot of us are scared of bad things that happen. We know it was a lot of things our parents went through and hid because of the village. So what do you think about that?
Brittany is true. Some people do keep things hush that happen with the village, but not everybody. But her statement is so true, so true.
But I back in the day, I know with my dad and my mom, whatever happened in this house stayed in this house, right? You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't say anything about it, and I kind of did that too, kind of like raising my girls. But then I started thinking, look, I'm messed up. I got to go talk to somebody because I need somebody to tell me that this is right. Oh, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just get that help. And I don't think it's always correct that if my uncle over here molested me, I'm not supposed to say nothing. Right. And that's where a lot of our hurts and our insecurities have come from, because our parents told us to be quiet. Don't say anything. Don't give out what's going on in my house, because this is our house. We'll handle whatever is in our house.
Yeah, I think it was a totally different time for our parents, us, and our children. Like our parents, in a lot of ways, I always say they did the best that they could off of very some of them very little education, very little opportunities or limited opportunities. On top of, I think the church was the pillar of the community.
Yep.
So a lot of counseling, a lot of things that we go to, like doctors and or therapists and counselors and even the police, went through in the Black community, it went through the preacher because they didn't want another Black man to be lynched or beat or jailed or all of those things. Not making excuses. I think it was out of protection of their own ignorance, them being their own village. And then just imagine your families being stripped apart. So that stuff is generational. I mean, if you had a whole wife and kids and you were sold over here to now you got a whole new family, and then you pass those kind of things on. I think after a while you start to believe. That's why granddaddy had a family in Chesapeake and a family in Portsmouth, and nobody really said anything about where granddaddy was. And so the uncle stepped in and he was doing this and he was feeling on you, sucking on your jaw, and it was like
Right.
some of these things they just accepted because that was normal for them. That was okay. But we now know that those things aren't okay. And I feel like for what Brittany said is so powerful because we know better, but we went from one extreme to the other. So the village is not doing that, but society is doing it. So now young girls are out there showing everything that they have and promoting it, saying I'm giving it up. And then, bad things are happening in that way. So I just think that we have not yet, as a community or culture, found a way to place that balance where Uncle Timmy not doing it or John on the street is doing it to you. We got to get to a place where, we have conversations like this to make things healthy in our homes and we can trust one another as far as like conversing in what's going on inside the house. I'm sorry, I went on
Absolutely.
a tangent. That did something to my soul.
It's okay. Guess what? Now, the question I'm about to ask y'all. When you were having like single parenting and stuff, did you believe in having different men around your children?
I ain't believe in it, but I did it.
I'm about to choke.
I can't be real, right?
You can. Go ahead. Go ahead with you.
Because if not, I'll be quiet and just smile.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't believe in it. I never seen that with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I just never saw my mom. My mom was single, heck, up until I was 12 or 10. I didn't even know she was dating. I mean, I never saw it. But for some reason, I started off that I wasn't going to until I thought it was somebody serious. But heck, I was so broke that everybody I met, it was serious. You know what I mean? So I became more relaxed and would bring them. Now, when I say bring them around, when you say bring them around, like they saw people I was dating, or you mean the people was in the house?
In your home, like spending the night, and
Well, I was married to him. So unfortunately, when you broke and you keep marrying people, they're going to see. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm transparent. When I was so broken, I got married. They met this person. Then we broke up. Then they met this one. So yes, I did it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's healthy. I think my kids struggle in relationships now because of what I patterned before them.
Yes. Vanessa Copeland said no to that question. Miss Valerie, what you say? What do you say, ma'am?
Oh, and I am real and transparent. Never, and I think I was on Reverend Renita's show before. I never had, once my ex-husband and I divorced, I didn't date until 16 years later, my husband now.
Pass out, girl, because I'm gonna faint right along with you guys. I ain't gonna be able to do it. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
I'm gonna tell you,
my hero.
Yeah.
Listen. I told y'all before. I mean, I call myself being presentable. I wanted to meet somebody, and I always tell you I couldn't even get a thug to holler at me. I don't know what was wrong, but I raised them, and no one's never been in the house. And I used to hear people say they call, "Oh, this your uncle." I never wanted to do that, and You never know who's watching you. My neighbor at an event for one of my kids say, I have 3 girls that live on this side and 3 on this side. This side, I never see nobody in the driveway, or when the mom is gone, people come in the driveway, the girls come in. He said, but this side told a different story. Not afraid of what people think, but I wanted to be the best example for my 3 girls
Right.
as I could.
And I praise you.
You know, and that's me. I just didn't meet anybody, and for 16 years, it was just me and my girls.
That's good.
Amazing.
Miss Copeland said back then you kept your children from your personal life.
Absolutely, Aunt Vanessa.
What you say, Kendra? You've been with this man forever in 3 days.
So I like I said, I've been with me and my fiance have been together on and off since we was 14. We're 28, 29. However, like Reverend Renita said, I did grow up in a house. My mom, she was married. She went through 3 divorces, 3 marriages. So we had men in the house, but she was married to these men. However, my mom, she's a giver. She's a lover. She's a hopeless romantic. She's a Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that just as fast as the marriage started, the marriage ended. And so growing up in a household with 5 siblings, for us, it was just like, okay, bye. All right, bye. Next, bye. We've been doing it by ourselves. It's just been us, and literally we call it Lisa and her 5. Because that's how we see it. Is no matter who comes in here, it's us 5.
Right.
And so as I got older, though, I realized I picked up some of that. So that's where it goes back to me learning and unlearning. I picked up that. So what I picked up was more so I can do it by myself. I don't need you. I'll figure it out. I've been figuring it out. Or when it comes out to relationships, it's more so like, I don't need you. I don't need you. But what I'm learning is no one wants to be around and not feel needed.
That's right.
Especially a man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning to take a step back. Take a step back and allow him to be a man. Take a step back and just breathe for a second. Breathe. It's all right. Just breathe. And that's something I'm not used to. I'm not used to just breathing. I'm not used to allowing someone to do anything for me. Because even growing in a household with my mom, it's 5 of us.
Yeah.
We got what we needed. All the extras, we'll have to figure it out. But so as I got older, anything I wanted, I got it for myself. And no, I didn't let no one tell me no. I was going to figure it out. So it's just more so just unlearning and relearn. Like I said, just trying to figure out what's best for my situation and how to run my house.
You something that Vanessa said about keeping people out of your personal life. You know, when you are emotionally, I think when you describe your mom as a giver and a hopeless romantic, I kind of see that in me where but mine was more, as the young people say, thirst. And the reason why I can say that so comfortably is because I grew up hearing that if you shack, you know that's the worst thing in the world is to shack.
Yep.
So wanting to be the good girl, wanting to be the one that the family didn't look down on, the youngest of the grandkids and the only child for most of my life, I longed for approval and validation. So that meant if somebody chose me, whether they were good for me or not, I wanted to be their wife. I'm not going to shack with you. And I thought that in doing that before my kids, that I was keeping, my personal life and my kids separate. And I was only bringing a husband to them, but I couldn't bring a husband, first of all, because I couldn't identify a husband until I really submitted my life over to God, and because I wasn't a wife. I didn't know what, even though my mom was married, what my mom did not resonate with me as much as what my dad didn't do.
Right.
And
That's
the fact that how much I needed from him, and I felt I didn't get, took the driver's seat to how I would interact with men, and which in return made me show my kids how to act. My son chooses women like the broken Renita. My daughter strays away from relationships. You just not, when you say I love you, she might break up with you on the same day. She just not about that life. She weighing her options. So, and I'm not trying to put their business out, but what I'm taking responsibility is, I know that a lot of the things they do, I see it from what I presented to them.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful right now to God, and I'm gonna shut up, that He is allowing me to show them transformation and redemption. And that even if you get it wrong, God is so loving and caring that He can help you to change and get it right. So I wanted to say that because you was like, I'm learning and relearning. Heck, I'm 48 and I'm learning and relearning. So I think it's so great that at your age you are so wise and so in tune. Because at 28, I was so lost. I was just,
Hey, but listen.
I was so lost as a mother. And I just think your daughter and your son are going to be so much better from what you're learning and relearning at such a early age. Because listen, I just started learning at 40, and I'm just now putting it together at 48.
Ain't nothing wrong. Brittany says, I honestly used to be okay with not being married.
I agree, Brittany.
I did too.
You did?
I did too. I mean, I was okay doing what I had to do. You know, sometimes you think about you want to be married, but I had gotten to the point that maybe I won't be married, so I did what I do. And I love being married now, Brittany, but I was okay with it too. I really was. It didn't bother me. I had married friends, and I wouldn't be there envying them to like, oh wow, I had a good time with them. So
I think I'm out of all majority of my friends, I am like the only one that's single, and I'm learning from each one of them about marriage and not being envious of their relationship or something, but I desire to be married again. But I learn from people like, okay, their marriage is like this, that, and the other. And I don't want my marriage to be like identical to them. However, I want to be submissive to my husband. I want to know what it is to be submissive. Because sometimes my mouth, I got to bite that tongue sometime and be like, woo. But I'm gonna say, but Nessa Copeland said, I always try to protect my boy from what I was doing, which was not always right. Being a single parent was hard, but God brought me through it. That I was blessed that they became successful Black men, having great jobs and great family. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
And then Brittany put, I think I witnessed things I was just like, nope, not what I wanted. Not saying my mom or dad were a bad example.
Oh yeah.
Right. I know I didn't get married a lot. I did have a husband for a brief second. But I thought that having a long-term relationship was right, but the men I was choosing or chose me or whatever were wrong. So now I'm like, I don't want, even though my daughters are older and they're, actually adults, I don't want to bring different men around them because I know that for me, I want it to be the right person. I want it to be the right man, the right husband, my husband that I bring into, and it's going to last, not just another fly by night person. So I want to do everything right in according to what God has for me, not what Yomi thinks should be for Yomi. So that was that. Miss Vanessa said, if you do your best and God know your heart, he will give you who he has for you, but you have to wait on the Lord. I have a great man now.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Lord. I know that's right.
Vanessa, that is so true. I know that's a total different off the subject. Yomi, no, Kendra said something, learning and unlearning, and it's off the subject too. We need to get back on the subject probably, but as far as I'm married now, right? And been, 16 years doing this thing with my three daughters by myself. So learning now, still, we've been married what almost 4 years.
Yeah.
How you said you have to step back because he is the man of the house. And I was used to running things, fixing
Right.
things, doing things, making it happen. And that was something I had to learn to let him be. Let him be the man. Sit back and enjoy.
Mhm.
Because that's she hit something really
Oh my
learning and
God,
relearning.
yes.
I like that terminology.
I love
That
that.
could be a
That's what
T-shirt or something.
love.
Learning and relearning. And then Vanessa said it right there. You gotta wait. Y'all know we talked about this before. You gotta wait.
Listen, and I didn't want no parts of it.
You know what?
Yes, when you
She
were
didn't
saying,
want it, remember?
I didn't want no part. What do you mean, wait, Lord? I've been waiting. It's been 2 months. That's my mindset. Like, Lord, but I am so glad. I am so glad. And like you said, Miss Val, this is a whole different subject, but I don't
Yeah.
know why we here, but we here.
Yeah.
But
Somebody might need to hear it.
Yes.
when you were speaking about that, Yomi, about wanting someone, I remember like it was almost like a longing, like a void.
Yes.
I felt like a piece of me was missing. It was only until I feel that piece of me truly filled it with God and said the words that you said, Miss Valerie. Lord, if this is my lot, if I got to do this by myself, then I'm just willing to do it by myself. And when I made that I felt like, the suitors just start popping up. They was like,
Surrendered.
bam, 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 and I was just like, and though I had what I like to say in bragging rights, options. I really didn't have any options because my husband is nobody that I probably would have ever picked because he's not churched. He's not he ain't he might cuss you out. Let me just keep it real. He might cuss you out. He might, have him a couple of drinks and whatever else. And none of that stuff deter me because he has a relationship with God. And what he's teaching me is his relationship with God is not my relationship with God.
Exactly.
I can't expect his walk to look like mine, but what I do expect is him to love God like none other, and then he'll love me like he's supposed to. And that's something I can truly say that I never had. I never had somebody that loved the ugly in me, that truly love the ugly, the bad, the days that I don't feel like it, the days that I don't want to be bothered. He loves it, and he's willing to serve me just like I'm willing to serve him because I'm the preacher, and I was thinking I'm gonna be serving the preacher. That's what in my mind I had set it up that way. But he doesn't care. He grabbed that Bible, he grabbed the stuff, and it's just amazing how God has set it up that the way that he loves me allows me to safely submit to him. And I always thought submit meant he was gonna boss me around, he was gonna tell me, but it's not even that. It's just that, and I say it all the time, if we ever have a tie, if there's ever a tie, he makes the final decision. I got to trust that God is speaking to him the same way he's speaking to me. And because he loves me, he's not going to do anything to put us in jeopardy. I don't always like his decisions. I don't even always believe in his decisions. I'm just being honest. But what I have come to realize is that I don't have to. I just got to trust the God in him and trust that if we don't get it right this time and we ever got to face it again, we'll do it better the next time. And when she said it, just take a step back and take the Lord, because that's what we pray for.
Yes.
Lord, I want a man to lead me. I want a man to take control. I want a man to provide, protect me. And then he tried to do it. No, I got this shot. We're ready to knock him out of the way to take control. And it's like, really, like I'm sitting at the door. My hands work. Sitting at the door, crippled. But my pastor, I'm telling you, you got to get connected with the right people. And I promise I'm going to shut up, Yomi. I promise. My pastor told me, she said, listen, I know you can lift that bag. I know you can move that desk. I know you, because you've been doing it. You've been single. You've been all that. But when you get you a husband, let him do it. Because what Kendra said, every person needs to be needed, especially a man. Yes. And if I don't need him, if I can do the hammering, I can do that. I can cook. I can do, all that. Because I done said it to Chris. Listen, honey, I can go and get the bacon. I can fry the bacon. I can do all of that. I don't need no what I'm here for. Oops, Lord, shut up, because I don't want to go nowhere. And it just makes you start to realize that some of the things that we say while we're single, we got to leave that stuff at the door and rid ourselves of it if we truly want to be. And I didn't do that before my kids to show my daughter how to be soft and vulnerable and open. And my son to pick somebody that's soft, vulnerable, and open. He picking the feisty girl that want to fight him for control because that's what his mom displayed. And I just think that those are the things that if I could, that's why I'm a better grandmother than I am mother, because I've learned that, I didn't always present what I should have before my kids. And I'm going to shut up. I ain't got
let me read these comments real quick and then we'll get back to it. Brittany said, I know I stayed in a relationship because I thought it was the right thing, because I thought I was supposed to stay no matter what. No, bye. Next. Miss Copeland said we were super women back then. I had to learn to be quiet and listen.
Damn.
And then Brittany said, yes, Auntie, I am working on submitting and making mine feel needed.
Yes.
But Miss Copeland said it's nothing too hard for you that the Lord will not help you with. He do the changing to us, not us changing no one. So that's
right.
True.
Right.
It was I read, I don't know if y'all know this pastor, but her name is Pastor Siobhan Smith. And I left the book downstairs. Is that your husband?
Yo, we're in a hotel in Houston right now, right? And I told him, he said, what you want me to do, Carl? I said, yeah.
It's okay, producer.
He said he love y'all.
We love you too. She, in her book, she has a chapter called Submissive, Not Bullied. And in that chapter, I was highlighting my tail away. When your husband loves, like you said, when he loves the Lord and submits to the Lord, it's easy for you to submit into him. He is not bullying you to do anything. Y'all are coming together as one and making that decision, or he's going to be the final decision maker, but y'all came together as one. And she also had in there about leading from behind, putting a little idea in his ear, but he thinks he got the idea. You baby, so-and-so. And maybe 2 days later, he like, Renita, I thought about this, but you never say, well, I told you that, but you never say that. You leading him to where he needs to go.
Let him have it.
Wonderful.
Let him have it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's called What the Church Didn't Tell You. Mm-hmm. Love the book. So from what I'm getting is that because I'm trying to teach my daughters better than what I taught them when it comes to relationships. I don't want my children nor her friends, Kendria's, Brittany's best friend, or Jarrell's friends to think that it's okay to, even though we've done it, and I'm not saying we don't grow from things that we have done, because we have done a lot. I know I have done a lot. But it's okay to be soft. It's okay to say, oh, I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have it. You open the door. Like, I'm going to the car. I'm going to sit there and wait for you to open the door. I ain't going to grab the handle. You need to open the door for me, because that's what men do. That's what gentlemen do. That's what you need to teach them. In her book, she said, teach them how to love you.
That's right.
I think the problem is with our generation, we try to be so understanding of the Black male that we don't want to make their life harder. So what we do is we meet them, what we call it, we meet them halfway. But to a certain degree, because we're like, oh, well, I know for me, I speak for my household, we work as a team. Everything's a team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no I, we work as a team. That's with anything and everything. If the trash can be taken out, I'm not going to wait till you get home to take it out. I'll take it out.
No.
If the dishes need to be washed, don't wait till I get home. You better wash those dishes. So, but that's everything across the board. But some households, they'll do that and some, to where they require the man just to do the bare minimum of the ground.
So,
and they try to play good. They try to play the pick-me girl. The pick-me girl is the girl that's willing to do his job, her job, their job.
I ain't that showing.
So while you're making his life easier and you're playing pick me, is he even looking at you? And you're right next to him on the couch.
Oh, there's a chapter in her book about that too, girl. Girl, she talking about all that in the book.
So I think that's the problem. A lot of people.
That goes back to when you raising a son, like Juanita said, you don't want your son to pick a pick me girl.
Yeah.
You don't want your son to pick a girl that's trying to fight him to be controlled instead of being soft and submissive. Not him being abusive and taking abuse, but baby, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You
and
got
it's not knowing your role or your part, it's knowing your lane in each of every relationship. Everybody has their lane. And so even if sometimes you got to merge over to mine, that means I got to hop over to yours to help you out, carry your load then. But it's not a gender thing. Like, it shouldn't be a gender thing. If y'all are partners, y'all are partners. And I feel like a lot of females definitely have come to the pick me, or they come to the, oh, I don't know how to be soft. I wasn't taught, so I'm not willing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So the unable to learn or unwilling to learn, I'll say, puts them in a stagnant position where they're jumping from relationship to relationship. Is always the guy. But we never, as a woman, we never want to be told it's us. We never want to be told we the problem, we toxic.
Yeah.
So we put it off on the man because men do everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when we actually got to sit with our own demons and face our own flaws and look at ourselves in the mirror and not be just told by other people what's wrong with us, then stuff gets stirred up. Now there's a fire lit inside of us. Because now we're like, oh, why am I? No, there's no age limit on marriage, but when we hit 30, everybody starts sweating. Now we're sweating. But you weren't worried about sweating before we hit 30, though. Who's the common denominator? We got to start with ourselves.
That's
So
good.
even
That's
if
good.
men are out here doing you wrong, baby, you allowing it.
Girl, was that you I was talking to when Pastor Jamal said, "Are you a dog whisperer?"
Yes, girl. Yes.
Yes, he said a lot of women, saying all men are dogs, there ain't no good men, is this, is that. He was like, baby, maybe you a dog whisperer. Maybe the problem, like you're saying, is you. I think that pick me, that whatever those other terms are, that's gonna lead you nowhere fast because you're gonna burn out.
Yes.
Nobody can maintain that. If I'm doing your job, my job, all the jobs, I'm like Miss Zally, let me be by myself. Because I'll be doggone if I'm gonna have you beside me and I'm doing everything. It's no need. I'd rather be by myself. I don't want to look at you chilling and I'm working like a Hebrew slave.
But they look at it as being a ride or die. That's the term.
I don't ride or die.
I don't ride or die no more.
That's the term.
Brittany said, that's my best friend. Miss Copeland says, men have to be men. We can't take control. That makes a man feel like less than a man. We women have to let men feel that he's the leader. And that's true.
That is
And so we need to teach our young women that also. This is the last question that I'm going to ask you all. When do you think it's too young to talk to your children about sex?
Mm.
And the reason why I'm asking, because in today's society, we have a lot of, I don't know, the what do they call the gender neutral people? You have the LGBTQ plus. You have I was looking at some application today, and they said they are them. They don't consider themselves a male or female.
Pronouns.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. So
It's like 76 gender something now.
yeah, I'm like, it's a male or female. Either you're a boy or girl. You got excuse my language, a penis or a vagina. I don't know what all this non-binary. That's why Kim, non-binary. That's what they say.
Yeah, you can be gender fluid.
Okay.
You know.
So when is it too young to talk about sex? Because I looked at Dwayne Wade's son,
Mm-hmm.
and did they let him
Daughter.
get okay, daughter? Did he get a sex change?
I don't know. He refers to himself as
A female.
Her, she.
Huh?
That's her pronouns. Her, she, her, or something like that. Yes.
right.
So
Okay, when do y'all start talking to your children about sex? When do y'all start bringing this up? Because it's so much in the society that we don't know which way to go.
So I personally, like I said, I have a 10-year-old bonus daughter. I say at 10, she's on TikTok, she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram. So is right now at 10 years old, it's too early, but it's also too late.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is because, like I said, she's on all these social medias. She done seen it. She done heard it. She done seen it all. Before we even got a chance to even introduce it to her or tell her the correct terms of what these things are. So even though social media is out there, it's still our responsibility as her parents to let her know the pros, which is none, the cons, which is a lot, but not to scare her to thinking, oh my God, I can't hold your hand. We're gonna get this. But also to let her know the real. I think that's the biggest thing. People come with this birds and the bees talk. Them kids walk away from that talk, baby, and be so clueless, don't know what you just said. So I feel like we need to be honest with these kids, but also shielding their ears from certain things, because certain things just don't need to be said, but saying it in a way that is understandable for their age level.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil advocate real quick. Miss Vanessa say start at 11. When you say shield their ears, but if you're shielding their ears and they go out here to school, nobody's shielding their ears. They're getting it all, and then they're coming back to you and saying, "But Ma, you didn't tell me about this."
Oh no. So when I say shield their ears, I mean literally, like, as adults, we use certain terms for certain things.
Oh.
So let's not use those terms, the P word or whatever. Let's use proper terms for them, because I wouldn't want, huh?
Penis and vagina. That's
yeah, proper terms. Because when they listen to these songs, they hearing the P word.
Right.
They hearing these songs, they hearing all types of words. And so for me, it's just, whether it's coming from me, her mom, or her dad, is making sure she knows the full extent. That's from being on social media, talking to strangers, what could happen.
Right.
Walking home from school, from the park or whatever, what could happen. Just being very honest and open with it, because I wish my mom was that. Like I said, my mom was a pastor. She sheltered me to the T. So a lot of things I didn't find out about until I got out there and was like, why are you trying to shelter me from this? Why are you trying to keep me from this? It can't be that bad. I hear everybody talking about it. Their mommies and daddies letting them do it. And granted, I didn't start nowhere near as early as a lot of people did. But when I hit high school, I was curious. Because I was like, oh yeah, what's going on? Everybody's doing it. So I just wish my mom at least let me in. Because a lot of stuff was staying in a child's place. You don't need to know about that. You need to stay in a child's place. So I just wish she would have let me know certain things so I wouldn't have felt bad when my boyfriend cheated on me because I didn't want to do it, or I didn't feel bad about myself and blame myself because the little boy didn't like me. He liked the other girl because she had bigger butt or bigger hips. I just wish there were certain conversations that was held even at the age of 10, even if it's not about sex. Let me know something, so I'm not going out here trying to figure it out.
Right. What you think, Miss Valerie?
I was listening, and okay, when I was having my kids, I think when they started their period, that's when I really told them about it, because I said, okay, got to get serious. But today, I'm 10 is a good age, but some of the 7-year-olds know stuff I didn't even know. When I was I was sheltered too. I do think that's what people say. You live a sheltered life. So some of the stuff kids knew at 7 now, I think I didn't learn until probably about 15, 16. So you have to really tell children the truth. I don't think you need to sugarcoat everything, but then you have some parents that don't, and you don't want your child to want to tell them, what they learned. But I think 10 is a good age to start at. So much, and if they watch TV, like
Lord knows everything's
Kendra said, if they actually watch TV like they do today, kids don't even go outside now. Our kids, we went outside. We went out. Our generation, we went outside, and whether you wanted to or not. My mother said a kid needs to get the sunlight, so I would have to go. We had, steps, sit outside. But now all they do is, like she say, watch movies. Kids watch movies that I'm like, man, I'm scared to watch that movie. Whether it's scary or sex is, I don't know. 10, I would say. 10.
Before you answer, Brittany said that is also so they can know when someone touches them in the wrong way or anything.
Right.
Yeah, true. Now, what do you say, Renita?
I don't necessarily know if it should be an age per se. I think it should be based off of maturity and exposure. Because I think an inner city child, probably would need to know more so sooner than like we're saying, the most of us seem to have been someone a little sheltered, because they're exposed to much more. Like my grandson, Jaden, we should be talking to him about those things now, and he's about to be 6, because like they said, he's exposed to TikTok. He's around older children, and we don't want him to learn from them. We want his first exposure. We would want his first exposure to be healthy, and not from someone touching him, someone telling him something wrong or grown or any of those things. That's what my opinion would be.
Okay. Ms. Copeland said children have too much freedom to what going on. Be a child and enjoy childhood. I know this is a new generation. It is a new generation, and it's kind of I didn't know it was that many different phrases or things to call oneself. I did not. I didn't call me oblivious to that. I was like, what? Who? Wait, okay. I didn't know, when you looking at stuff and you're like, well, male, female. But now they got everything, non-binary, no, he, she, they, them. I didn't know. And I was like, wow, these children these days are, I don't know if it's confused. They are, I know that there's homosexuality. Homosexuality has been out a long time, but I didn't know it was to the point where you don't want to be considered a male or a female. It just never dawned on me that way. And I feel bad for these children coming up, because it's so much in this world to be discriminated against, right? I look at the LGBTQ people that are coming out, and they are doing this, and they have these parades, but then they are getting bullied because they are this way, and it's just so much. And I don't know, it's confusion. It's just out of control. And I wish that we would talk to our children more. I know some kids do not get the chance to just be kids. That's what Brittany said. And that's another thing. Again, I believe it's our generation that kind of did it to our children per se, because we wanted them to have so much. I don't see no children outside. Maybe my neighbor across the street, she might have her sons go outside sometime, but there's hardly any children outside. And like you said, Ms. Valley, when we were growing up, and even when my daughters were growing up, they were outside playing, being kids. Kids nowadays are having babies, right? Children nowadays are having babies, even though they had, when we was growing up, they did too, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. It's not like every other child is pregnant. I went to when, what's the little girl name? Jarrell was graduating into her high school before COVID. Them little girls, you couldn't tell them from the teachers or the students. They had on heels, full face makeup, nails, hair. I was like, oh, we went to school. I mean, yeah, we look cute, but we want 5-inch heels and stuff like that. So I really want our generation to start talking to our children and being mothers and fathers to these children out here. And that's why I wanted to do this, because you did bring it up to me last year, and it was something that I was like, I really wanted to.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember?
I remember now.
Then and now, and we have a long way to go, especially in society today, where so much is on TV, on TikTok, and on social media. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing all in the same time, all in the same thing. And we just need to be better as parents. What it's now? What she say? Inez says it's now LGBTQTIA2. What is that?
Is that a joke or that's for real?
That's real, though. I mean, I don't even know what it is. That's a lot. That's a lot, and I wouldn't even know what to say.
We actually saw an article today on the news here in Houston. I think they said they wanted to teach, put homosexuality in the classroom for 5-year-olds, starting at 5 years.
Ray was crawling. Did you have him crawling behind you?
I didn't tell him to crawl that time, but when he asked me, he said, "What you want me to do, crawl?" I said, "Yeah."
Well, I thought that they were, because in certain areas, Texas too, they were trying. Abbott he has a law now that if you are a parent of a transgender child, you can get arrested. And if your neighbor knows that your child is transgender, they can turn you into the cops. This is in the state of Texas right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was just,
he put it into law, and I said he's an idiot. But that's
baby, you don't.
That's a law here. If your neighbor says that you have a gay child or something like that, that they can turn you in, because he said it's child abuse. That's what he calls it.
But isn't that discrimination on the neighbor?
Not by his law.
That's like domino.
It's not supposed to be discrimination. It is discrimination, but he's saying it's not discrimination because he considers it child abuse.
That ain't your child, though. Don't worry about somebody else's kid.
It's child abuse. So we need to be very mindful of where we live at and what's going on today. But I thank each and one of you ladies so much for being on here tonight. It was delightful. It was insightful. And what's your saying, Kendrea?
Learn and unlearn.
And unlearn. So we have some unlearning to do and some learning to do. I thank you, Reverend Renita, Miss Valerie, and Kendrea. Y'all got some last thoughts that y'all want to say before we get off here?
I wanted to say Brittany should have been on the show as well. I loved her comments. This can continue or whatever, but I just say pray for our young people today. I'm telling y'all, I feel so bad today for them that they don't get to know the fun and different games, like whether it's jacks or whatever like that, that they just double dutch, and that they just put their mind on the TV or those video games, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be like. What kind of leaders are they going to be? I don't know. I really pray for them.
A lot of these children, young adults, don't believe in voting. They don't see the point in it. They don't. Miss Vanessa say, "Pray for our kids." Just like
I do, Miss Vanessa. I really do.
I just speak as a teacher and as a mom. I just want all millennial parents especially to step up as parents and not just be there but be present in your kids' lives.
Amen.
Because it makes a world of difference, especially when they go out to the real world and go to school. And the teachers are having to pick up where the parents should be moving actively.
That's good. And you, lastly, Miss Reverend Renita.
I think everything has been said. We are accepting donations for Pastors Unleashed. If you would like to give toiletries, if you would like to give food, if you would like to give clothing, whatever, you guys can mail it to me from Texas. We are going out into impoverished areas and areas in the community that have a lot of crime, and we're going to set up a pop-up church. We're going to worship, and we're going to let the voice of the Lord speak louder.
Amen.
And the voice of the world. And we are going to try our best to love the hell out of people as well as speak to their needs. It's hard for me to be worried about hearing the word of God when I'm hungry.
Amen.
We want to meet their physical needs as well as introduce them to the love of Christ, which we know ultimately will transform their lives. So, if you guys want to donate in any way, please do. Other than that, we just solicit your prayers.
And how do we donate? Where do we donate?
Now I'm about to ask that question.
If you would like to donate, like monetarily, we have Cash App and we have PayPal. Willing Workers, it's Willing and then WRKRS for Cash App and PayPal. Willing and then WRKRS. And if you would like to donate items, you can give it to Yo-Yo and she will contact me and we will get whatever you have.
This is Willing, WILING, WRKRS.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, that's the Cash App and PayPal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And clothing, y'all can just give to me and I'll send it out to her. Again, thank you all for being here. Thursday nights, Danny Direct. At what time? 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right?
7:30.
7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Central Standard Time. Those only times those I remember.
Right.
All right. And don't you do something on Wednesdays?
Wednesday we will be going to, but we're going to the Her Shelter. It's an abused women and children's shelter, so none of that is going to be seen. So
Okay.
just we need your prayers.
All right.
We need your prayers, and we're about to start going into the prison.
Ooh,
So we need your prayers. Yep, we need your prayers.
All right. Well, y'all know at Willing Workers, I'll put that back up on the screen that y'all can donate monetary. That's PayPal and Cash App.
Yes.
And on Thursday nights, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Central Standard Time. I'm gonna get it right one day. Lord, at Danny Direct. Thank you all for being on the show tonight. I appreciate it. It was a great conversation. Until next time, ladies.
Y'all have a good
evening. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.